I'm going to be talking about why I quit my dream job. Honestly, this video is kind of hard for me to make. I even put on my Fenty lipstick today to channel the confidence of Rihanna because I was writing down the stuff I wanted to say in a little Word doc and I started to get really nervous. I had to go meditate and collect myself. Don't know why. I guess it's because I haven't even told everyone in my life that I left my job because when certain people ask how's work, it's just easier to do a generic response than explain you quit. So I guess that's why I'm nervous. I don't know. It's kind of scary for me to talk about, but we're gonna push ourselves out of the comfort zone, right? The reason I'm making this video is because it's honestly been my inspiration to create this channel. When I was stuck at the job that I was unhappy at, I would always envision myself creating videos, and this being one of the earlier ones. Because when I was struggling one day, when I really didn't want to go to work, I searched on YouTube and found a video similar to this, and it really provided me with comfort and made me feel a lot better and saw that there was brighter days ahead. So I wanted to do that for anyone who sees this as well. I hope people find comfort in my story. I hope they relate, and I just hope that I could help one person by saying my story. It's honestly been a ride. I even created a little ebook about lessons I've learned the hard way since I've left my job to pursue my business full time. So if you want to learn more about that, about the lessons I learned, you can find that in the link below. But I don't want to get too into that. I want to focus more on why I left in this video. So I want to preface and say that this was my dream job on paper only. If you have seen any of my videos before, you may have heard me say that I have 2 degrees in psychology. One of those degrees is a master's degree in industrial and organizational psychology. The goal of this field is to make the workplace a better place for all and just implement different trainings and culture changes, which sounded really awesome to me until I got there and realized that I did not want to be a part of any sort of corporate lifestyle. The job I left that I'm going to be focusing on today was a job in training and development, which is a big part of this field that I went to school for. So I was like, great, this is exactly what I wanted. So I saw this opportunity in training and development after working with this company for a few months in a different field of human resources that I was really unhappy with because the work was super boring. So I went ahead and applied for this position thinking it would make things better. Spoiler alert, it didn't. And I kind of knew intuitively that it wouldn't, but I figured I owed it to myself to give myself another shot before quitting corporate entirely and going cold turkey on it. And this is why I knew it wasn't going to work, because it wasn't even the job I hated, it was the lifestyle. I could not fathom or see myself long-term spending majority of my hours of my life behind a desk in an office. To me, I just see that there is such a beautiful world out there to explore, and spending majority of my time in a desk, behind a desk, where I'm constricted. I can't even, for example, on a nice day enjoy a walk in the park. And I don't know if this sounds kind of bratty or lazy of me, but I just wanted to be able to kind of go outside or do things at my own pace, I guess. I knew also that it was one of my big goals in life to travel and see the world. Right now that's on pause because I'm building my business, but I knew that this was going to be super constricted by the corporate life, so I was like, I gotta figure something out, which is why I went ahead and got my life coaching certification and built this amazing business that I'm running today. But for a while, I didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew I could not handle that lifestyle, and I don't know if it's like this in all corporate culture, but I also hated the working for the weekend mentality that would always be around. People would always be like, I'm in a good mood because it's Friday. Is it Friday yet? And implying that they'll only be happy when it's the weekend and they're away from work, which is kind of sad. Maybe because I'm a more spiritual and religious person, I realized that every day is truly a gift and tomorrow's not promised. So I hated that people would kind of take normal days for granted. And speaking of working for the weekend, I felt like I could only be myself truly on the weekends. I feel like there was like a corporate Jackie persona I was putting up in meetings and conversations, and just going into work every day, I had to pull back and not be able to be my authentic self, not being able to wear what you want, which again, this might sound bratty, but this was important to me. I just felt like such an imposter in those corporate clothes. Also, I was building this business on the side and I wasn't talking about it at all, and it was just so important, such a big part of my life. Like, I found my purpose and my passion. I was completely not telling anyone about it except my one coworker who I was close to and found my TikTok. Yeah, I just wasn't able to be myself, and I didn't want to live a life like that. And another thing, something important to me, one of my biggest goals in life is to one day be a mom. And I don't have any kids right now, but I knew that, and I give all the moms who work full-time so much credit, but I knew that I didn't want to work in a corporate environment while I was raising small children. I've nannied in the past, so I see how fast kids grow up, and I didn't want to miss that much on seeing them grow up and spending time with them. So that's also one of my inspirations for building a business where hopefully by the time I have kids, I can outsource a lot of the work and just have more freedom to be a mom. And that's just something else. That was one of my big motivators in starting this business that I actually have never talked about on any of my platforms. So here's a vulnerable moment for me. I also got a huge sign that I wasn't meant to be there. When I started my new position in training and development, my first week, my boss assigned me to read a book called Start With Why by Simon Sinek, I think his name is pronounced. And we were going to start this whole program around it, whatever. But I read this book, and if you ever read it, you'll know. But if you haven't, I'll give you the brief summary. It goes into why and how this concept is so important in business. Basically, your why is your purpose. So if you're in business, it's a lot deeper than making money. It's the brand you're creating, the lives you're touching, the value you're providing. And personally, I discovered my why by reading that book had nothing to do with the job I was just placed in. I wanted to be helping people face to face on a daily basis. I wanted to be able to see the changes I was making in their lives. I wanted to have a direct impact, and I really wanted to feel like I was changing the world one person at a time. And I wasn't getting that. I did deliver trainings as part of my job, trainings on soft skills like communication, emotional intelligence, stuff like that. But I just felt like I wasn't making an impact on the world, and I felt like I was just meant for so much more. And reading this book on my first week on the job made this so clear to me. So I was like, oh girl, we gotta figure something out. And a couple months later, I went for my life coaching certification. There were also a couple things that made me really sad. For example, I started my TikTok before I even knew I wanted to become a life coach. I would see myself on TikTok, and I felt like my authentic self was stuck in the phone. At work, felt like I was watching myself do these TikToks, and I felt like it was a completely different person. And it just made me sad because I was like, damn, I just feel so disconnected from that person that I'm meant to be and trying to build when I'm at this job every day. And just going to a job where you're super unmotivated at, there were some things going on that caused the job to be not the best, but it really wasn't the worst. Like, I cannot say I was treated poorly. I wasn't taken advantage of. I wasn't working super long hours. The people that I worked with were good people. My boss was a great boss. I actually really liked her. It wasn't anything like that. It was just more of, it's not you, it's me. I knew that I wanted to be someone else, and it wasn't there. Another thing that made me really sad and helped push me out the door was seeing the way my sister would get so excited and passionate about her job. She's a teacher. She's just always talking about her kids and just excited to go to work. And she was saying how she was so sad when she had to be virtual for COVID because she missed going to work every day. And I was like, I wish I could be virtual for my job. I hate going there every day. And it just made me sad. I mean, happy for her that she had a passion, but I was like, I really want that. And that's what I have with coaching, and it's awesome. But that was just like another sprinkle on the cake that made me realize that I shouldn't be there. I will always be grateful. Number one, I talk about this in my quarter life crisis video, how you have to figure out what you don't like doing in order to determine what you should or what you're meant to be doing. And this really helped me figure out that I did not want anything to do with that. Like, I never wanted to work in an office after that job. I gave it a couple shots at a couple different positions, and it just wasn't for me, and I knew that. So I'm really grateful for that, and it helped me find coaching and pursue this path, and I'm so grateful for it. Number two, financially, it helped me a lot. I was able to buy my first car and save up after this and just save up and make my savings account super cushiony, so I was comfortable enough to leave my job without a backup plan. And I say without a backup plan loosely because I was building a business, but candidly, when I put in my 3 weeks, my job had a 3 weeks notice requirement. When I put in my 3 weeks notice, I was not making a single dollar in my business, not one. So I was really taking a bet on myself and a leap of faith. A lot of people probably think that's stupid. And you know what? They're not completely wrong. It's not the most financially responsible thing to do, but I just was contemplating this decision. It was weighing on me for months. It was really affecting me, my mental health, and just me as a person. And I knew, if not now, when. Like, if I wasn't going to try it out when I'm young and I don't have a family to support and don't have a ton of responsibility, I only really have me to support. I do have rent and bills like that. But if I wasn't going to take this leap of faith and bet on myself now, then when was I going to do it? I'm not saying you should do this. I really encourage you to be financially responsible for doing this. Please make sure you know your monthly expenses. You know exactly what you're going to be needing, that you anticipate this, and save up some money. It doesn't have to be super cushiony, but just be financially smart. Don't put yourself in a huge hole. You don't want to accumulate tons of debt by this decision as much as you should bet on yourself. But I also want to be super candid and say this has not been all sunshine and rainbows. A lot of these videos, I feel like people are like, yeah, this was the best decision I ever made and I'm so much happier. And I do think it's one of the best decisions I've ever made, but it was honestly a costly one because I didn't have that income from my business right away. I do have some now, thankfully, but it has also come with a lot of ups and downs. I talk about this a lot in my little ebook. If you're interested, I really go into depth there. But basically, it is a roller coaster. I always say entrepreneurship is a roller coaster. There's good days and bad days. Some days you're like, what the hell am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not making any money. Why did I think I could do this? But then there's other days where I'm like, I am the king of the world. I got this. But another really important lesson I talk about in my little ebook that I just want to cover in this video is it is a huge adjustment. You have to mentally adjust that you are not going to be getting that cushiony and comfy and cozy bi-weekly or weekly paycheck anymore. It's kind of, at least for me, it was a culture shock. Like, I knew what I was getting myself into, but I didn't fully know until I experienced it, how it affects you mentally, especially when the thing you're pursuing isn't another job. It's a business with unpredictable income sometimes. You could be making $0 that month, but you could also be making $10,000 in the next month. So that's the beautiful thing about it. I don't think you truly can prepare yourself for it until you're really doing it, but this is something else I just wanted to drive home. But even with all the stresses, financial or not, I'm so grateful for this journey. I learned a lot about myself and I've really grown as a person, and my business has grown, and I get to work on it every day and dedicate all my free time to it. And it's amazing, and I'm just so happy and excited and blessed that I have something I'm so passionate about. Honestly, if you're struggling, if you're in my seat a year ago, not even a year ago, a few months ago, where you're just so miserable at a job, corporate or not, and you don't know how to get out and you're just feeling really alone, feel free to reach out to me. That's what I made this for. I want people to not feel so alone in this because it is kind of scary, especially if you don't know what else you want to pursue. Before I knew I wanted to be a life coach, I'm like, what the hell am I going to do to make money in my life? What's my purpose? What am I doing? So feel free to reach out to me because I don't want you to feel alone. I remember I would literally, one of my favorite things to do, I'd walk through the parking lot behind the building and just dream about my life outside of this job and this corporate constriction. And it makes me really kind of emotional now saying it out loud, that I'm living that life. And it is not at all what I thought it would be like, but it is amazing. And I'm really grateful, and I'm just excited for everything to come and grateful for everything that's past me. One tip I want to give you is envision this new life for yourself. Talk about you at that job in the past tense. This would help me a lot, and I feel like it allowed me to become more aligned with my full-time life coaching self. But anyways, that is my story. I hope that you could relate to it, that it helped you, and that you just enjoyed listening to it. I know I love just hearing random people's stories sometimes. Like I said, if you want to know the lessons that I learned the hard way after leaving my job to pursue my business full-time, you can get that in the link below. You could also find all my other fun things there, my journal, my coaching application, and my link to my social medias. Like I said, do not feel afraid to reach out. Don't be a stranger. I don't want you to feel alone. I know how alone I felt behind my desk certain days and had no idea what I was going to do with my life. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to figure it out. It's inevitable. So just keep chugging along. You got this. Have a great rest of your day, month, year, whatever it is. Sending you love. Bye.